So this is my story. I was born in Monterrey, Mexico, and I had a pretty good life. I had nannies and went to private school. Everything was given to me. Until my dad, he decided to invest in a bakery. The whole bakery thing did not go as planned. My dad decided to declare ourselves in bankruptcy. With bankruptcy, you basically have no credit, and one of the stuff that we had to give up was our new house, our new American life, and our everything. I remember they told us you have 7 days to get out of the house and just pack up your stuff and just leave. And I remember my dad bringing the UPS truck and just putting everything in, and we didn't even have a place to go. It was bad. We decided to pray for God to provide somewhere to stay, and God did. I remember so many stuff happened. I mean, I'm just gonna go to like the big stuff. So my dad got in a wreck. He hit a car, and then that car hit another car. His blood sugar went down to like 10 or something. So they took him to the hospital. They ran some tests, and they found out, well, that he was a diabetic. He had other symptoms, and basically also that they found a lot of cancerous cells, and it was just a list. And that list basically said that my dad was going to die. My dad would tell us to live is Christ and to die is gain. So when my dad told me that, I knew for sure, like, we didn't have my dad for a long time. I don't know, I was just feeling for my sisters. Just how, you know, something that they shouldn't go through. But I was like, God, why are you doing this? But diabetes didn't stop there. It kept going. It kept progressing. And it happened again. My dad went out of sick leave for like 9 months, and we went through many hardships because as immigrants, my dad was the only one legally to work, so he was the one that could only work and basically depended on him. Life was going. It was a huge change for me and my family, going for having everything to nothing. But I don't know. And about my sophomore, junior year, I decided to go on a retreat with my church to Florida. On the way back from Florida to Houston, my aunt called me saying that my mom was in an accident. And she told me that she was in an explosion. So when she told me that, my heart just fell. And I just started to cry. I didn't even know what it was. And so my dad, you know, when we arrived, my dad picked me up. And he told me, when you see your mom, don't cry. There was an explosion, and the blast just hit her face and burned her face and her arm. So I remember walking in, and my sister Sarah had a drawing. I asked her, like, what's this? It looked like a monster. And it's like, that's Mom. And I was just like, what? Like, as I was going to the room, I see my mom, and did not look like my mom at all. So half of her face was like burnt. Her arms were all like burnt too, and her back. During that time, we didn't have any money, so she didn't go. She didn't get the chance to go to the hospital, and so my dad was just taking care of her. I don't know, that was like the hardest thing that happened to me. For my sisters too, like, I mean, I remember going to my friend's house, Kendra, and just telling her everything that happened to me. I was like, why does this happen to me? Like, where's God? I was so angry at God. I was like, why? All we had was God to pray. We prayed, and we started seeing change in my mom's face. 3rd-degree burns are supposed to stay. You're scarred, and you're a different person. But God renewed my mother. We were just so amazed that God did that. My mom, if you see her right now, she is like nothing ever happened to her. And any EMT book or medical book says it's not going to happen. Whenever all that happened, God opened our eyes to see that we were just losing track of ourselves. And it all started in the beginning, how we were so dependent on my dad to provide. Our everything was in wrong places. And God was just like, look at me. Look at me. I'm your provider. I'm the one that gives you everything. And God did. You know, we prayed and He did provide. God just opened my eyes to see that everything that happened was for me to understand that all I needed was Him. I needed to be complete in Him and to be in love with Him. And even though everything that happened was just horrible, I got to see that it was beautiful.